my lovely audience. This is Lawrence Sparkman with my persuasive speech on Hitler Youth Indoctrination. One man was able to convince a whole country to normalize mass genocide. If I were to guess, the first person that came to y'all's minds was Adolf Hitler. Hitler employed many tactics during and before World War II, such as forcing everyone to use a particular infamous greeting in education and in his Hitler Youth to brainwash a whole generation of loyal youth to help him achieve his agenda. I know what you may be thinking. How did one man brainwash an entire generation of people? In a few minutes, you will be left with no doubt about how this truly occurred. Since this happened nearly a century ago, and since I did not experience it personally, I employed the use of several books and an article to research to assure you that Hitler truly did manage to brainwash an entire generation of children. The books that I utilized are the following: The Hitler Youth, How Germany Indoctrinated a New Generation, written by Julian Flanders. Don't Tell the Nazis, written by Marsha Forchuk Scribruk. And Hitler's Empire, How the Nazis Ruled Europe, written by Mark Mazdauer. My supplemental article was How the Hitler Youth Turned a Generation of Kids into Nazis, written by Aaron Blakemore. Today, you will leave convinced that Hitler truly did brainwash an entire generation of children with the following points: the history of youth groups in Germany, the establishment of the Hitler Youth, the programs of the Hitler Youth, and the impact of the Hitler Youth. Adolf Hitler was not the first person to come up with youth groups in Germany. Youth groups began with young males. Young men who tended to be wealthier wanted something new. They did not like the rapid industrialization and political movements that were happening in Germany. They wanted to reconnect with nature and go back to older traditions. So they began youth groups. Now groups of men and boys would go out on trips, hiking trips in the woods. On these trips, they would talk about politics and also sing folk music and other old traditions. These youth groups were youth-led. There were also all-female youth groups. Hitler was already familiar with youth groups in Germany. Throughout his rise to fame, male youths would come to his speeches. Hitler quickly realized that to maintain power and to achieve his agenda, he needed a broad range of loyal followers. He decided that having youth groups would achieve that for him. To spread faster, he created both boy and girl youth groups. To be similar to other youth groups in Germany, his youth groups were also youth-led with some oversight. One of the leaders of the Hitler Youth was Baldur von Schroch, who was also a member of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. The next leader of the Hitler Youth was Arthur Oxman. He was awarded the highest decoration that Nazi Germany awarded, the German Order. The Hitler Youth, led with great leaders, also had a plethora of programs available for youth of all ages. There were programs for both boys and girls. The boys' program was more military-based. they were divided into two age groups, 10 to 14 and 15 to 18. As they were more military-based, the boys were taught how to march and how to sing patriotic songs in a band. They were often featured in parades, large celebrations, and other big events. For the females, the programs were more home-based. Girls were taught how to cook and sew. They were also taught the importance of motherhood, how to raise their children, and how to be a good wife. As Hitler gained more power, he began to ban all other youth groups in Germany besides his own. The amount of youth participating in the Hitler Youth grew to be in the millions. All the programs in the Hitler Youth were designed by Hitler to advance his harsh agenda. All of the children were to declare their absolute loyalty to Adolf Hitler and Nazi principles to be a part of the Hitler Youth. The Hitler Youth used manipulation tactics and methods to brainwash the youth to be completely loyal to Adolf Hitler. Children were so manipulated by these programs that they would betray their family and their friends to Nazi officials. Many efforts to protect those that Hitler wished to destroy were ratted out by youth members of the Hitler Youth. Hitler's efforts to expand and to secure loyal followers so that he could maintain and abuse his power to advance his harsh agenda were successful. To conclude, I am sure that you all are convinced of Hitler's brainwashing skills with the following points that I have shared today: the history of youth groups in Germany, the establishment of the Hitler Youth, the programs of the Hitler Youth, and the impact of the Hitler Youth. Now that you believe in the strange but real power of indoctrination, have your perspectives on historical events that involve indoctrination changed?